Hi, Ria. We're very excited to host you all. Great. I think we can start now. Um, Aspire for Foundation welcomes you all to the professional upskilling workshop. We hope you all are members of our community. Make sure you all sign up with us. The link is in the chat box. Before we begin the workshop, we have with us Madhura ma'am, the founder and CEO of AFH, the person who has made it possible to explore our potential through this platform. And we have Ruchita ma'am with us, the head of alliances and partnerships, and our guide and support throughout organizing these workshops. I would request them to introduce the audience to AFH and share a little about the foundation.
Hello. Sorry, you want me to talk now, Risha?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Hi. I'm so excited to be here and see so many people on the Sunday morning. We're nearly 200 people right here and feeling very, very proud to address all of you. Aspire for Her is not just a foundation. It's not just an organization. Actually, it is meant for young women like all of you to discover the potential for yourselves. What do we want to do? We want to motivate every young woman in our country to be financially independent. The basic thing here is you should not have to ask anyone to spend the money that you have earned yourself. And we want you to have your own money all the time, because money is not just about money. Money is also about independence. Money is about decisions. And money gives you the power to ensure that you can walk out of any bad situation that anybody in your families, in your society, sort of puts in front of you. So I'm so happy. Most of the students are from JD Women's College, as I understand. And without Nandini ma'am's support, I think we would not have got here. A few months back, we spoke to Nandini ma'am, Ruchita and I, and she was very excited about all the girls from the college joining Aspire for Her. And we said, let us see how this goes. But the way in which it went was absolutely amazing. We had people like Monica and Disha who came in our ambassador program, and suddenly we realized that there was so much of learning happening between the ambassadors themselves. And Monica and Disha did some phenomenal work for us. They did some really good work for us. We are so proud of them. And we realized that this regional activation team sat down and decided, you know what, we actually need to do some things ourselves. So the regional activation team, led by Girisha, Palak, Pankti, and there are so many other people here. I can see Jennifer, I can see Neha, I can see Tejasvi, I can see, I see lots of people. They're all part of you. And they decided that we want to do this upskilling program so that all the girls from JD College, they learn some things which are needed to be learned before getting into the professional world. Now, we have a lot of exciting plans even to show you what the professional world holds. It is not just about earning money. It is about getting that motivation, that confidence, and having faith in yourself, having the confidence in yourself to actually do something meaningful and have your own identity. So 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, when we meet all of you girls, and I'm sure Nandini ma'am, will be also equally happy like Ruchita and myself. We will be so proud of what you have achieved in life, because you will all be working in good companies or maybe running your own businesses. Aspire for Her encourages you to do anything that you want, to follow your passion, as long as you are financially independent and you don't have to depend on anyone to get your money and to live your life. So we are very, very proud to have this session. It's a part of 4 sessions. And I'm so happy to see on a Sunday morning, everyone's come in and you actually want to learn. That's why you've come in. Nobody has told you to come in, but you have come in because you want to be here. And that's the best form of learning. And the second important thing is that the learning is not being done by us, not by old people like us, right? Not by Madhura, not by Ruchita, not by Nandini ma'am, but by people who are exactly like you. And I am sure that they will learn as much as you. So whether it is Monica or Disha, or whether it is Girisha, Palak, Pankti, Rashmi, all of them, they will learn as much as you after today. Peer learning is supposed to be the most effective form of learning, the best form of learning. So I wish you a fantastic learning experience ahead. And I will personally look forward to getting any feedback and anything that you want us to do differently in order to make this process more powerful. So thank you, Nandini ma'am, once again to you, the faculty, and everyone who has made this possible. But this is all about you. And at Aspire for Her, we are proud and happy to make this happen this Sunday morning. And all the best. And I look forward to watching your careers as you go ahead. Thank you so much. Thank you, Girisha.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm sure everyone's super excited to join our community already. We have with us Ruchita ma'am, the Head of Alliances and Partnerships at AFH. She has been guiding and supporting us throughout organizing these workshops. I would request her to share a few words.
Thank you, Girisha. And good morning, everybody. And welcome to this Sunday early morning where I see some good participation. Aspire for Her has some great vision and mission. And I saw the same in Nandini ma'am that resonated with us. And that is why we are here together. And I remember literally chasing her for 2 months to get our first talk. And believe me, Nandini ma'am, it was really worth it. And then we had our first ambassador program that came out after we had our first session. And all I told ma'am was that please try that some girls come and we can see some changes happening. And we had an overwhelming response from the girls who applied for the ambassador program. While a few dropped out, but it was Monica and it was Disha who actually did a fantastic job in this ambassador program. And they have been our true ambassadors in reaching out to JD Women's College. These are small winds of change, and it starts with very small changes. But I hope for once that this is as infectious as Corona. Otherwise, Corona is not positive at all. But if we go about with this, that is what in true sense Aspire for Her is trying. And this is our first session. And it is only because of Palak and Girisha who actually thought about activating the regional team and making these small changes that we are all here today. These are sessions and these are life skills. It is not that you need it only for today. Even if you don't understand, just stay in it. Whether you go into the workforce or you start your own business, whatever it is, these sessions are going to help you. And there is no age for learning. I myself am going to be sitting for these sessions. And I'm sure our team of Rasmi, Neha, Tejasvi, and Pankti have a lot to share today. And all I request is that please be waiting till the end. Even if you don't understand, it's okay. You will use it at some point in time. Thank you so much for joining in. And I think we should start ahead. Thank you, Nandini ma'am, once again. And we look forward to the new ambassadors also for the next program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ruchita ma'am. We also have with us Nandini ma'am. She is the head of department for economics. She is the coordinator of placement cell at JD Women's College. I would request her to share a few words as well.
Good morning all the students who are still joining in, 237 participants I see. And good morning, Madhura ji, good morning, Ruchita, and the entire team, Girisha, Palak, and all others. And our campus ambassadors. Monica, Disha, and we also have a third one, Aparna. I hope she's here. And all the CRs, amazing work, and we are here together. So it's very exciting. As Ruchita said, it's been 2 months. I mean, she pursued me for 2 months and she didn't let me really have my break as I had planned, my holy break. So here I am. I had so many books downloaded on my Kindle, which I thought I'd be reading, but here I am reading a few, but back here. And it's wonderful to see all the girls here. Now, both Madhura ji and Ruchita have spoken a lot of things. And all of you realize now, especially after the pandemic, that the world can give us a big shock. Nature has given us a big shock. And we talk about Malthusian theory also over here. Whatever it is, our life is in an upheaval. And in this upheaval, we have to seek inside us the strength and the potential to find the career paths forward. Students, you've been told this many times, that knowledge and technology are the two keys which are going to chart you a path in the future. This is what is going to help you to be empowered. This is what is going to help you to be a confident young woman facing whatever comes your way. So we hope for a fruitful partnership, the college, JD Women's College and AFH, in bringing you both academics, which the college will give you. You'll be studying your subject, in doing some extracurricular activities and sports and culture and dancing and singing. That's fine. That's just wonderful for us. But life skills have become extremely important today. How you navigate your life, how you navigate your academic life also, how you navigate your social life. Today, it's technology determined. As all of us have seen, it's been online classes. So those of us who could not, we were forced to learn a lot of things. So students, instead of being forced, let us opt for it. And these are the very basic skills that you're going to learn in these 4 workshops. And there are many more other things going to come. So be connected. And yes, CRs and the campus ambassadors, you are going to be that, Hindi mein kehte hain sutradhar. In any case, we are looking for that multiplier effect, and you must pass it on. And all other students who are participating today, if you decide to pass this on to another 5 students, tell them about AFH, ask them to join these workshops. The sky is going to be the limit. Is not going to be the limit. In fact, I would like to say. So there's so many programs lined up, girls. Stay connected. And thank you, Ruchita and Madhura, for pursuing me so, dedicatedly. Thank you so much, girls. Let's enjoy these sessions and let's learn. I've got my other laptop open here to learn. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So back in February, Monica Kumari and Disha Singh joined our community as ambassadors and did an exceptional job. They are dedicated, they are responsible, and they are from JD Women College themselves. I would request them to share their experience at AFH with the audience. Over to you, Monica.
Good morning to all. I'm Monica. I did my BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering, and now I'm pursuing MBA from JD Women's College. I'm very much grateful to AFH community for the opportunities it has provided me and the community with. With the help of this community and the excellent mentors, I was able to complete my ambassadorship program. With this program, I increased my communication skill by attending the session on a group discussion debate organized by vertical-led Palak and Giretsa. And through this program only, I get an opportunity to work with upcoming project named Return to Work Project Network for the women who wish to return to workplace by providing internship programs and job opportunities for them. And the most important, I joined the JD Women's College a year back and was only known by my classmates and department professors. But after completion of this program, mentorship program at Inspire for her, more students started to know me, and that was an amazing moment. I would request you all to please join a mentorship program at Inspire for her and enjoy the session and job opportunities provided by Inspire for her. Thank you.
Okay, a very warm greetings to one and all present over here. I'm Disha, student of JD Women's College. I joined AFH as a member in the month of January and soon became an ambassador at AFH in the very next month. It was such a great experience with lots of opportunities, from learning to building social media accounts on platforms such as LinkedIn, Sheroz, and Medium, to enhancing my communication and interpersonal skills through various workshops held by my verticals. And Girisha and Palak, whom I had closely worked with, inspired me by their true enthusiasm towards AFH. The ambassador program gave me an opportunity to learn the insight about the working of AFH and left me truly amazed by the opportunities provided. This experience has inspired me to work even harder in future to achieve my goals. The whole team is very supportive and interactive, and it was really great to know you all. I thoroughly enjoyed this period and would strongly recommend you all to do join as an ambassador and feel the change in yourself. That's all. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Monica and Disha. It has been a pleasure having you all in the team. So without further ado, let's begin with the workshop. Aspire for Her welcomes you all for the first session of Professional Upskilling Workshop, Microsoft. Our speakers for the day are Rashmi Dhulipuri, Neha Nitnaver, and Tejasvi Rathod, guided and supported by Jennifer Jagos and Pankti Salia. Rashmi is a second-year undergraduate student pursuing mechanical engineering at Ramya Institute of Technology. She operates as lead data and performance management at Aspire for Her and also takes care of the finance for her college club, which has given her first-hand experience with Microsoft Excel over time. Neha has done her graduation from ACET in Computer Science and Engineering. She has been an ambassador at AFH since February. Tejasvi is a second-year student pursuing BA from KC College. She is also an ambassador at AFH. Jennifer is a graduate in Bachelor of Management Studies and has a diploma in advertising and sales promotion. She has been a part of AFH for 10 months now and is currently working as a social media strategist. Pankti is a second-year management studies student majoring in finance. At AFH, she is the creative head and manager for member acquisition and engagement department. We promise you this session will make you feel confident using Microsoft Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. It will offer you loads of insights to understand these softwares. You can write your queries in the chat box and we will address them towards the end of the session. So get your pens, papers, laptops, phones, computers, everything ready to note down all the tips and tricks. Over to you.
Okay. Hi all, I'm Rashmi and I think Girisha gave a wonderful introduction. So maybe adding some of few points to that, some fun points rather than more of what I'm studying and everything. I'm a major foodie. I just love my food. I love food blogging and I play around 7 sports and I'm a major car enthusiast. So entire Formula racing, like my mouse right now, it's in the shape of a car. So that's how much I like racing and everything. So that's about me, and I think we'll just get into the Excel session and start off with it. So what I planned today is that I have made a list of the flow of what I would like to teach, and which is to the left of my screen. My screen is seen, right? Just a confirmation.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so I made a list on the left where you can refer as to what's going on, so that if someone's joining in between two, they'll have an idea of what we are teaching and what's the flow of it. So you'll understand if there's something which you don't know, which you can actually pay more attention and everything. And to the right, I have the actual Excel sheet which is open, where I show you how the operations are done, which you can try alongside or also keep note and try later. So this is what I planned. So I'll just start off with the session. So first part of it, I would like to introduce Excel as it is, just the theory part. I won't bore you guys with theory. We'll get into the major part soon, but I think knowing this much is really important. So does anyone want to tell me what Excel is? How do you use it? Something about that? So I want the session to be a little interactive so that it'll be fun and it'll be something where you can tell me what you think and I can in that way improvise it. So is there, are we unmuting or is it on the chat box? Can you help me with that, Girisha?
You all can unmute yourselves and, interact with Rashmi. Or you all can write down in the chat box as well. That's also okay. Anything?
It's literally on the screen. Just unmute and read it out too. So just some interaction will be great, right? Okay, maybe I'll start off this bit and maybe in between when it'll be like an icebreaker and then people can start talking. Yeah. So what is Excel? So Excel is a spreadsheet program that is used to create grids of text, numbers, and formulas for specifying calculations and representing many other data. So it's really, really valuable for many businesses, and we can record expenditure, income, budgets, charts, and everything. And it's this new normal where you really have to, this is one of the basic skill which you need when you get into any company, like anything. The first thing they'll ask you is make an Excel sheet with this data or something, or like it's all dependent on Excel, major part of it. So I'm just today going to cover that part, which is really essential for you to operate the basics of Excel, so that maybe we can get into the advanced some other time. So applications, like I was talking, business analysis, people management, like in my formula team, my college team, for people management, for who's coming in, who's in the leadership position, who's leading other departments. I use this like Excel for the major project management part of it, and operations, making reports, strategic analysis to see what is the growth in members in a community like Aspire for Her, and many other things. When you have an analysis, then only you know what's happening, if you're doing something right or not. So this is a very professional way to keep that. And what are the advantages? So like we covered above, it's very powerful, complex formulas and all that. Like when you actually, what's the difference between writing it with a pen and paper and actually using something like this? So it can do much advanced things which humans can't do with that much accuracy, and you can easily share it. Like in olden days, they used to make a lot of photocopies and all that. So right now it's you just send it on WhatsApp and it's done, and you don't really have the scope of error is really, really less because it's all automated, right? And you can store it easily, and you can put it on a cloud so that you can store data for years and years, and you can encrypt it too, like due to security. You really can't hide a piece of paper or something. Maybe you can put it into a locker, but this is password and it's much, much effective. So, I mean, everything which has advantages have disadvantages too. So the only disadvantage is you really need to have a device and you need to have a knowledge. But today we are here to turn this disadvantage into an advantage, right? So we are here to acquire this knowledge so that it doesn't stay as a disadvantage anymore. So today I'll be dealing with MS Excel 2019, which is the version I have in my laptop. But more or less, any version you use, whatever features I'm going to teach today is going to be this more or less same. So you can improvise that way. So the kinds of Excel, one is a normal Excel sheet as you see right now. And there are one other majorly used kind of Excel is Google Sheets, where you can simultaneously edit. Like I'll just show you a sample of a Google Sheet. So this is just one Google Sheet which records AFH sessions. So here there are many people who can share and work at the same time, and you can all coordinate and all that. So like the difference between a Google Sheet and a normal Excel is that normal Excel only you operate, you send it and another person then edits it, but a Google Sheet can be dynamically used. So it's much preferred nowadays in professional setups. But if you know the basic Excel, the working of Google Sheets and everything is more or less similar. So next I'll be going to the spreadsheets and workbook part of it. So first, let's start with the very basic. I know this is something many of us will be well versed with, but just in case, I just want to start in the flow so that it'll be easier. So you just go to your search bar and type in Excel, and whatever version you have in your computer, most of the computers come with this. You get to open it. And there are many options, many templates, because it's not only a blank workbook we start with. There are people who deal with money who use a different template. There's people who make other things and other team management. And according to that, you can select your templates. So this is a blank workbook. This is how you create a new workbook. And now I'm going to tell you what's the difference between a spreadsheet and a workbook. So does anyone want to tell me what it is? Or everyone's still in the, let me just listen and not say anything more? So anyone wants to unmute and tell me what a difference between spreadsheet and workbook is?
We have some in the chat box.
Okay, can you read it out for me? I really can't see it from the screen.
So Noor Sabah says spreadsheet is a single sheet.
Okay, that's absolutely right. So a spreadsheet is the sheets inside a workbook. So for a good analogy, it will be like a textbook, which is a whole book as such, but each sheet has some other chapter or something different written, right? And it's a collection of similar data. So right now, this whole whatever is open, regional activation, MS Excel, that is the workbook. And the spreadsheets in here are the introduction, the spreadsheet and workbook, rows and columns, and like you can see in this image, right? So Girisha, can you help? There are some markings on the screen. Can you help me get rid of them?
Yes, just give me a second.
Okay, so I hope that is clear. So how to save this created workbook? So this is pretty basic. We just go to the save, you choose whatever the desktop or wherever you want to get it saved and name it appropriately and save it, right? It's more or less similar for every other software as well. And how to open a saved already present one. So you go to home, open, and you have other things which are there, which I can just select and it opens into that. These are all the basic operations which I just wanted to brush through so that there'll be no confusion. Similar to anything you want to delete on your laptop, just go to that place where it is saved, maybe C drive, D drive, desktop, right click and delete it. And adding and moving spreadsheets. So this is one important part. So there is this plus symbol which everyone can see, right? So you just have to press on it and you'll get a new sheet which you can rename, right? Sheet 2 for sheet sample. And with this, you can add and you can move it around. Maybe you want someone to refer to this sheet first and then the other sheets. You can see how I'm moving this around according to the order. So that, and also there's something called as hiding spreadsheets. So sometimes we have some data which we put into the sheet, but you really don't want to present it to other people. It's just present there for your reference. So in that case, you can right click and hide it so that it hides. And later, if you want to see it again, you can unhide it. And so you can select which one you want to unhide and get it back. So this is just basic operations. So now I'll get into the actual detail. So rows and columns. So does anyone want to tell me what a row and column here does? Anything on the chat box, or you can unmute and talk.
You all can unmute yourself, guys. Don't be shy. Noor Sabah says rows are horizontal lines.
Okay, that's absolutely right. Rows run horizontally and columns run vertical as per what is seen in this image here. And what is the main role of these rows and columns? So Excel is a spreadsheet software, right? It has majorly rows and columns in which we put in data. So I'll just show you this example data. I zoomed it in, right? So there are students, physics, chemistry, their marks and their average and everything. So row is the property of a single person in like student 40. If we take the student 44 row, the rows specifies the physics, chemistry, and math marks of this particular student. So it gives us an idea of one person for a various parameters. But if you take a column, the parameter is constant, but the person keeps changing, right? So that's how it's an easy way to remember rows. So each one, they like rows have a single person, something about the same person, but different parameters. But column, the parameter usually remains the same. So there is nothing as a rule as this, like there's no rule as such that you should follow something like this, but it's more of a convention where people usually use a concept this way. So that's the major difference between row and a column. And this, it's more or less very self-explanatory, like what row says by the word row, right? Like row goes from horizontally and columns go vertically. So next I'll show you guys something called as a formula bar. So this is the most important place where you can put in all the data. So when you click, like for inserting data, we click onto the cell and we type in, right? So we can do this in the cell also, and we can do it on the formula bar also, and we can type other data. One second. Typing data. So we can directly add it from the cell, or we can add it from the formula bar. So formula bar comes really handy once you get a hang of Excel. So this is inserting data, and deleting data is same, like it's pretty basic, backspace, or you can just select the cell and you can press the delete button. It clears the entire data. Next, I'll be teaching you guys something called as merging. So where we use this concept called merging is when you're making headings in Excel, because when you're making a heading, what happens is you usually have it covering the whole page, right? So you can't just put it in the first cell saying heading, and it won't make sense for it to not have like continue towards the end or something like that. So what we do is we press in the shift button and choose the group of rows which we want to merge, and go to home. And at home, we have something called as merge in center, because usually any heading we put in, we get it to the center so that it aligns and adds the beauty to the document. So this is merging. And other pretty basic things are cutting and copying. And I'm showing all this just so that the later things which we practice, all this, I don't have to repeat it again. So cutting, again, select the cell and which is highlighted, right click, and we have, where is cut here, and we can paste it wherever we want. And same thing works with copying, copy, and we can paste it in different ways. So this is all with copying and pasting. And now comes something really interesting, which is sorting. So why do we use sorting? Because in a professional way of giving data, it looks really good when things are in alphabetical order and all that. Like people don't really prefer, like if you have a list of 10 people who got selected into a team or something like that, if you just put it in a random order, people tend to assume that, oh, this person whose name is put first has done something better or something like that. But for a uniformity in data, what we do is we represent the data in an alphabetical order. So we know that everyone who's selected has the same order. There's nothing special about the person in the front and, something like that. So it's a standard which is, again, conventionally used. So what I do here is select the entire, the data which I want to sort, and use shift button for selecting. And when you right click, you have this under filter, you have the sort. So I can sort it from A to Z or Z to A or however we want. So I'm going to sort it from A to Z, and you see that it's all sorted. So here it's only 6-7 data. So you guys must be wondering, like, we can just type it in, what's the big deal? But when you're sorting like thousands and thousands of data, all this comes super handy. So there's in the sort, one other interesting thing is one which has cell color will go on to the top and things like that. So it's pretty cool if you use them in much bigger data, but just for sample, I'm showing it for like a few data entries. So the next important thing is resizing and fitting rows. Obviously, all data they don't have similar trends, or they don't fit in the same area and all that. So we really have to resize it for beautifying the document, right? So this is how we resize. Just put your cursor between these rows and you can move it in, you can move it out, and even the rows, you can move it out, you can move it in, and you can resize. Maybe if there's a heading which you want to show like in a bigger size than the other one, you can zoom it in and you can make it bigger and all that. So this is the
Sorry to interrupt, Rashmi. Rashmi, we have some questions coming in the chat box, but I just wanted to mention that these sessions are recorded, and at the end of it, we would be giving the YouTube link. And maybe just a small request, Rashmi, we need to just go a little slow, if that can work.
Yes,
Okay?
yes, definitely. I'll do that. So I'm talking about resizing and fitting rows and columns. So you have to place the cursor between these rows or columns, and you need to just drag and drop where the sizing changes. So this is pretty useful when you're dealing with different kinds of data. Sometimes there is numbers here, and numbers don't need that much space, but when it's text, it needs much more space, right? So the spacing can be dealt that way. And this is manual spacing where I am dragging it and pasting it and everything. But then if you want automatic, like you want the cell to itself kind of give it spacing according to your text, then you just have to place your cursor between this A and B column as I'm placing right now and double click. So when you double click, it'll automatically adjust to whatever space is required. So this is about the resizing and fitting part of it. So I'll go to the next part of the session, which is layout. Okay, so in layouts, first thing we go see is home. So this home function provides a lot of functions to us, which really help with the basic sorting of their data and everything else. Like you can specifically add colors, change the fonts and everything, and this really comes really handy. So this home is the first thing which you go to when you're dealing with Excel, yeah. So I'll just try out different options from the home part of it and show you guys, so that you can I have understood that this session is being recorded and it will be placed later, so when you're using it too, you can refer it back and see as to what happens. Okay, so I go to home and I'm trying out a different font here. So what I have to do is select the cell. When you select it, it bolts around, and go and you have a variety of fonts, and each font has a different meaning. There are few ones which are professional, few are called fun and something like that. So according to what you're presenting, you can choose a font. I'll go with Arial Black. So this is how you change a font. So it's always select the cell which you want, bold it where it gets bolded, and choose whatever option you would like to apply on it. So try different sizes. So first there is this bar where you have numbers, where you can try big sizes to really small sizes to everything according to your layout. So maybe I'll go with 18. And there's another way to change size. So you never really get the estimate. Okay, you don't look at text and be like, okay, this should be a 30 or this will be a 40. We usually don't get that kind of an understanding. We just relatively keep trying and checking, right? So Excel provides an option for that as well. So here we have an increasing one. So we just get an estimate. Okay, I like this size. No, I wanted a little smaller. So you can change it here. So these two just come for the size part of it, which really is helpful. So after that, I would like to talk to you about the bold and italic and all this. Again, select the cell, home. You have bold, italic, underline. I'm applying bold. You have to select the content here. So yeah. So it's bold and it's italic. You can have it underlined. There are different kinds of underlines which you can try out and do all of that. So next you can add color to the text. You can add color to the background. You can add color to the border. Usually we use this option when we are making a table or we are giving headings to a different kind of data. So it looks neater and it looks more clear when we add color, right? So that's where we use this, where here there is this something like a paint bucket. Where we can choose any color we want for the background. So I prefer light colors because they give the segregation without actually really giving a very strong impact kind of a thing. So I think there's some notations on the screen. Can you disable that, Girisha?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so this is with the color, background color, and just beside that you have an letter and under which the color. So which just, and the thing is, if you just place your mouse on any of these options, Excel is pretty self-explanatory to one point, because it gives us what it does exactly, so that all we have to do is place the cursor there. It says font color, changes the color of your text. So you really don't have to remember all this as such. You just have to know Excel has a function which can do something like this, and you can find it by just placing your cursor in different places. So here I changed the color of the text to red, and I also can apply borders. So there are all border, meaning there's a border all around, and you can just add border to one side if you don't want a border everywhere and all that. So something like that. And right after that, I think I'll go to number formats. So here in the same home, we have different formats in which we can have numbers. So this, I want to represent 0.2 as a percentage. I can select percentage and it turns it into that, and a date into the April, May, that kind of a format. Again, you have short date, long dates. I made it a long date, and same thing which you can try out for currency and time. So something like that. And inserting pictures, this is one very important thing. You've seen me itself insert pictures in all these, right? So you just have to go to insert, illustrations, pictures from this device, and it'll take browse for you. So I go to the desktop and I have this sample image for inserting, so which I can insert and which I can directly, it gives you the feature to edit and all that as well. So you can edit it and all that, which you can figure out. It's pretty once you start exploring it. So then equations and symbols. So Excel also provides you the feature to have different equations and one second. Yeah, so symbols, equations, where there are all these standard binomial theorems, expansion of sum, which you can take in and put in the numbers. And you have special symbols as well, which we don't have on the keyboard, which we can insert, right? So that's about that. And next, I'll be talking about shortcuts. So the most important thing for handling any kind of data is knowing its shortcuts. So Control N, I think you can take a screenshot of this and use it for later reference. So all these shortcuts, I mean, you can do all this with the mouse too, but then this will just make it easier for you. So these are the shortcuts, and the control, the Control X, Control C, Control Paste and all of that. Something a little different, I feel, is the finding one. Find Control plus F, which...
I'm sorry to interrupt. We have two questions that can we insert the picture in one cell, and can we just add the picture again? Can you all show them again how to add a picture?
Okay, sure. So you have to select a cell and you have to go to insert. So in insert, you have something called as illustration, where it shows a image of a picture of like an image of something adding, and then picture shapes and different things. So you select picture. Okay. And you can choose an online picture too, or something in your device. So I was going with something in my device. So it will open the location. So according to the location of wherever, whatever you want is, you can just choose that and press in insert. So it inserts the image, which it does. It's not cell bound. I mean, you can make it cell bound, but I think you are adding images in like without bounding them to a cell will give us more control about its position, right? So that's how you insert it. Is it clear now? Okay, should I go to the next one? Girisha, can you just let me know like how much time I get so that I can talk accordingly, like till when or something like that?
You have 10 more minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So I hope the image part is inserting the image part of it is clear. So I'll be going to the shortcuts where I was talking about the find. So what you have to do, here is press in Control plus find on your keyboard. So it has something called as find and replace. So the famous 3 Idiots example, right? If you guys have seen that movie, he changes all the chamatkar to balatkar, and something like that. You can find everything and you can replace it according to the search. So here I'm trying to find the word Excel. So I find all. So it tells me that I've used it in 2 places, and you can go there and you can edit it. So when you're dealing with a big set of data, it comes really handy. So remember this Control plus F. Okay. So next I'll be going to the graphs and charts part of it. And one of the most important aspect of using Excel is its graphs and charts, because imagine actually sitting and having like maybe 100 or 150 data with you and drawing a pie chart with your scale. It would take you all the time and the accuracy is really doubtful. But then here Excel provides us so many options of different bar charts, pie charts. And can you see all of this? I think, wait, I'll show you. The image is not that clear, but then you can see every kind of chart which you can, like with different triangle representation, with arrows, with, you can just, anything you want, you can just get generated out of here by just using these very few options, right? So this is a really helpful concept, and I'll just show you how one of it is made, and the rest of it you guys can try it at home because of the time. Okay, so what we do for inserting this data is we select the data which we want to make into a graph or into a chart. So I use shift button and I choose the entire column. So this part is clear, right? It's pretty simple. Then I think I want to make a bar graph. So I go to this bar graph option and I see, do I want a 3D one, 2D one, and all of that. Maybe we'll go with a 2D, with a 3D column. So look at that. So what happens? I get a marks on the top of, like a heading on the top, and you can edit it, change the color, change the borders and everything. And this is how you make a graph, make a chart. I think I'll show this one more time so that it'll be more clear. I'm deleting this, and I'm just selecting the entire data using shift, going to the insert and choosing the kind of graph I want, and it'll auto generate it. So you can press in here and change marks of students or something like that, however I want, however you want. If I don't like blue, I like green. You can be all picky you want, and you can really edit it however you wish to. So that's about the charts part of it. Same thing you can do for a pie graph, everything. So it's pretty much, if you explore this little part of it, you guys can really see many options. And as per time limitation, I'm not going into the very detail of it. So next I'll be talking about formulas. So this is again one of the most important applications of Excel. It helps us make big calculations. Like there are times where the CGPA, you made a CGPA calculator using my Excel sheet, and with the same formula I calculated for 7-8 friends of mine. And it's pretty like if you really have to do it with a calculator, you have to sit and every time use the formula, right? So all this can be auto generated and the patterns can be maintained, which is one of the really great advantage of Excel. So I'll just get into the very basic ones, which is calculate, sum, average, max, min, and count. So what does calculate do? Calculate is a basic calculations, like a calculator kind of a thing. So all you have to remember, the first thing you have to remember is the equal to. So I'm just putting it here, and like, okay. So equal to is the most important part of the entire formulas side of it. So we use equal to, that means you are using a formula. It gives us an idea that, oh, someone's using a formula, that's why there's an equal to. So here I just want to show you how to manually calculate 2 or 3 data. So I choose this cell and I use a plus symbol, and I want to add this maybe, and if I press enter, it will add it up for you. So this is the manual calculation. But then if you want to use the function which is inbuilt by Excel, you can use an equal to. You have built-in functions, sum, I open bracket, and I choose it using shift. So using shift was, like I told you initially, it's the most important thing. So one of my hand while using Excel is always on the shift button. So I press in shift and choose, so that you see here that C13 to C19, all this data is selected. So now if I enter it, it will directly give me the calculation. Same way for average. I'll just show you quickly, average, and I select the data, And if I press enter, it gives me the average. So max, like it says, gives you the maximum, min gives you the minimum, and count gives you the number of data you're dealing with. So right here, I'm dealing with just 7, but there are times where I deal with 7,000 to 8,000 data where really I can't look at it and estimate, right? So count comes handy because in few seconds, it gives me the entire profiling of the data. So these three, because of, again, the time constraint, I'll leave it to you guys to try it out, but it's pretty basic. Equal to, and just type in that max, min, count, the direct names, and choose your data, right? So I'll be going to the next part, which is tables. So table. So why do we use tables? We make tables in notebooks. We use tables everywhere. We represent things in a table so that it gives us a very clear-cut understanding of what are the data, and like it just gives this uniformity and it gives this easy way to access it, right? So how to form these tables in Excel? You again use the shift button, choose the entire data, insert, and you go to table. So it chooses it, and it itself, according to the range I chose, it changes it into a table. So why a table, you'll be asking me? Because it's all already there in rows and columns, right? I really don't need a table. So the real reason I'm making a table is because we have this option of filtering that specific data. Like we make in an Excel, we make like a sub Excel kind of a thing when we use tables, right? So here in weightages, again, if I want to sort them or something, I can sort it together. So it makes a mini Excel inside an Excel. So that's something which is really helpful. So now I sorted it by the weightage. Now if I sort it by the serial numbers, the order will again change back. So this is the concept of the table. And I really wish I could have gone into the detail of it, but I'll just move to the next part. Maybe I just have a few minutes left, right? So the next part of it, am I too fast? Should I slow down a bit or something?
Yes, if you can slow down a little bit, that'll be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. And formatting cells. So this is pretty, so it's just to be really specific with your cells. Like some people will say, no, I just don't want my text to be looking that simple. I want it in an angle of 20 degrees and I want to strike through with it, and I want it with color and different things. They really specific, but Excel provides us this entire the options to do whatever you want. You just have to think, okay, I want something like this, and you will find that there'll be some provision which allows you to do that on Excel. So first thing is an angle. So I think first I'll show you how we use formatting a cell. Again, choose a cell. It'll bold with the highlight around it. Right click, and you'll have format cell. So just remember this very much because this will really help you a lot. I mean, there are a lot of options, so we tend to get lost, but choose it, right click, and go to the format. So look at this. It gives you the numbers, it gives you alignment, font, border, filling, and you can even protect each of the cell and all that, which really gives you wide range of options if you properly explore. And if you're a person who's very specific, this is something for you. So I'll just show you maybe 2 or 3 options and how to go about it so that you guys can try out the rest of it by self-assessment. So first I chose this, right? I chose this and I right click, went to the format cell. So here I would like to give an angle of maybe 15 degrees this side. So I just drag this and make it 15 degrees and I press the OK, with which you can see the text in one angle, right? So this is how you change it. And this is just one of the format option out of maybe 100 options here. And if you go to font, you can strike through and it will strike yourself something. If you want to show someone that we have thought of this, but it is wrong. So you strike through but still represent the data there. So we use it there. And fill it with color. I think we already learned color, but this is another way in which you can add color. And border. So maybe this. So there's color. So that's about the formatting cell part of it. I hope everyone's really clear about how to access it, because again, it's lost in a lot of other options. So make sure you guys take a screenshot or remember that it is there when you right click on the cell. Okay, so that's about that, and I'll go to the real last part of it, which is a little.
Just a minute. Students are asking to repeat the table concept once again.
Okay. Do we have the time? I mean, shall I? Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, you can explain
Yes.
it once.
Okay. I've actually planned it out like much more explanation, but because of the time constraint, I'm a little worried. So I'll slow down. I'm sorry. So table concept, right? 1 second. Okay, so this is again some plain data which we have here. So it's it is again in rows and columns, and you guys will be wondering why again we have to make a table. But then the reason why we make a table again is so that it gives us more access to the very specific data, and like allows us to retrieve it and also make different orders and all of that. So for this, you need to select a cell, use your shift button, and choose the entire data. So select, you shift and entire data. So by this, you will give the Excel the range in which you want to turn it into a table, right? So with that, you have to go to insert, and you directly get a table option here. So there is not much of searching like the format cell or something. You just under insert, it's one of the first things you see. You press it in, and as you see selected it already, you have already given it the range, right? So you just have to press OK. So it turns it into a table. So hope this is clear this time, or should I repeat it another time? Is there anything on the comments, Girisha?
Hi everyone, please let us know if this was clear. You all can type in the chat box. Yes, Ruchi, we'll cover it at the end again. Rashmi, I think you're good to go.
Okay, so like I'll just show this part of it where you can actually arrange everything by smallest to largest and other ways. So this is one of the main reason why we make tables, so that first of all it gives us this clarity, right? I mean, when data was in the other where nothing was changed, it doesn't look like actual sorted table, but when you have it in a table format, it really gives us a lot of different things which you can do. So this is about the whole table part of it, and I hope the formatting cell was clear, that part of it. Is there anything in the comments, or shall I go front? Okay, I think I'll just go to the next topic. So
Yes.
which is data handling. So this is one of my favorite, and it is because when you deal with maybe thousands and thousands of data, how you are able to go through it is what makes an app or makes anything really effective, right? So this gives that option. So what I'll first show you guys what it is so that you guys will understand what it does. Okay, so as the shortcuts initially in the shortcuts, we have learned that control all is selecting all the content of the workbook, right? Hope you guys remember this and took a screenshot of it or something for further reference. And so what I do in this data handling is I press in Control plus A. So all the data I have is chosen. Okay, so now I go to the data option. So home, insert, page layout, formula, data, and there is something called a filter. Like obviously if you're making coffee, tea, something like that, you have this same filter option, right? So it removes what we don't want and just keeps what we exactly want. So it has that funnel icon too, which will give you the idea of it. So I just, after selecting Control plus all, I choose the filter option. So when I choose the filter option, you see that these tiny arrows are made on the top headings, right? Have you guys followed this, or I'll show it one more time? Choose Control all and go to data and filter the funnel shape icon. So it creates these tiny arrows on top of your data. And I'll tell you guys why this is really, really important, or why it is my favorite. So right now, under this column, under the mode column, I see, under the platform column, I see there is Zoom and Facebook, but I really want to see only the events which are on Zoom so that I can post them on Facebook as well. So I really can't sit and go through 70 and, count it on my hand or something like that. So what that does is I select only the Zoom here. select all, I press on the select all again so that it removes the selections, and I specifically select what I want. So I want to know only the events which are done on Zoom and not on Facebook, so that I can post them on Facebook. So I press into the Zoom and I press OK. So with that, I only get the sessions which are under Zoom. So can you see this filter icon here? It is all normal arrows here, but there's a small filter around here. That means that this has been filtered. So again, you can sub-filter it. So under the Zoom, you want to know what, like when someone specific has done that session or something like that. So I can again choose what Girisha has done and, you know, see that this is what she has done under this. So you can filter 2, 3, 4 times, and it'll just give you more and more clarity on your data. So what this gives you is that in large data, it will allow you to go through everything and find exactly what you want in a very easy and an organized way. So shall I show this one more time, or are we good to go? Is there anything on the comments?
Yes, I think just repeat it once again.
Yes, I'll do that. So this is a little more difficult concept, so I'll show it one more time. So what we do, select a random cell, Control plus A. So it selects all the data. So then you go to the data, because we are dealing with data here, right? Go to the data and choose the filter. Like there are other things here, advanced filter and all of that. So don't get confused with that. Just use the largest filter icon and press onto that so that you get these tiny arrows on top of your columns, right? And when you get this, it'll make it really easy for you to go through the data and filter it and, you know, find exactly what you want. So I was showing earlier how I want only the Zoom sessions. So I press on select all again so that it removes all the selected options, and I choose only Zoom so that I know what are the sessions which are made only which happen only on Zoom. So again, I can filter the second time, the third time, the fourth time for more and more specific answers or specific data. So this is how it's done. Hope this part of it is clear. So is there anything on the chat box which someone wants me to repeat, or should I wind it up?
In case you have any doubts, please let us know in the chats. We'll address them towards the end of the session. Rashmi, I think you can wind up right now.
Okay, so that's about the the basic part of Excel, which you need to actually operate, like make specific small data and something you can operate through it. But there are many other complex things you can do with Excel, which you can actually learn as the time goes by, as you keep practicing with this. So Excel isn't something like you open a textbook where the chapter is explained and, you know, read each line. So Excel is more of trial and error. So maybe in the last 1 year, I've made more than 100 Excel sheets, and every Excel I've made, there is something new I learn. Even today, if I make another Excel, I'm like, oh, I didn't know about this option. So I would suggest all of you that just don't be like, I don't know this, right? Let me learn it and then figure it out or something. Just open a spreadsheet, put in the data and just play around with it, see what else you can do and explore it. And that's how you actually get to learn Excel and get a first-hand experience on it. So that's all I would like to say, and I conclude with that. Thank you all, and do put in the questions in the chat box. I might have been a little fast because of the whole time constraint, but I'll answer your questions. And with this, I think Neha, you can take over from now. I'll stop the screen share.
Before Neha takes over, I think Ruchita ma'am, you have something to share.
No, it was actually a very nice session, and I for sure know whom to contact when I'm stuck. That is actually very cool, huh? Rashmi, I am going to keep messaging you whenever I'm stuck. But what Rashmi has told is correct. Until you start practicing and you play with it, you're not going to learn. Just learning on this platform is different, but practicing is what is going to make you perfect. And we will, whatever doubts you have, you can put it in the chat box. She will answer them towards the end. Anyways, the recording of this session is going to come up on YouTube immediately. We would send the link through the class representative, so don't be worried of that. You can again view it at your own pace, but hang on and see everything. That's what's more important. Thank you so much, Rashmi, for the wonderful explanation.
Thank you, ma'am.
Over to now, Neha.
Hi everyone. So instead of doing word first now, we'll be going on to Tejasvi showing you all PPT. So over to you, Tejasvi.
Hello everyone. I just share my screen. Can you all see?
Yes, Tejasvi.
Yeah. So why do we make a PPT? We make a PPT because it improves our teaching experience and presenting experience by the use of multimedia, which improves the focus of the audience. It allows us to use images, it allows us to use videos to have a greater visual impact. It also makes the sessions interactive. So let's begin. And what is PPT basically? So PPT is a popular presentation software commonly used for office and educational purposes. So yeah, uh, to make a PPT, first you really need to open to make a PowerPoint presentation. You need to open PPT. So when you open the app, this is how it looks. So these are various templates. These are the previous PPTs that I've made. You can browse more templates from here for maybe educational purposes, templates which consist of diagrams and infographics. Today we'll work on blank presentation. Um, yeah. So before beginning with the slides, I would really like to give you all an overview of the tabs which you can see. So these are the various types of tabs over here. Insert tab, design tab, transition tab, and each tab consists of different ribbons, and each ribbon has a lot of groups over here, as you all can see. Over here is the tell me what you want button. So in case you can't find any function, you can type in here and you can find that function easily. Right now I can't do it because I have this band over here. Yeah. So we'll begin with the slide. Also, over here you can see there's a small arrow pointing downwards. It's called as a launch button. Why is it over here? Because we can't fix a lot of functions in this particular group, in this particular space.
Tejasvi, sorry to interrupt you, but people cannot hear you clearly. So
They can't? Okay, just a second. Now am I audible? Hello?
Yes, it's better.
So why is this small arrow over here? It's called a launch button because we can't fit in all the functions over here in this particular area, right? So we expand it and then, yeah. So then we can get access to more functions over here. So let's begin with creating a small presentation. So this blank slide looks very boring, right? To make it more interesting, we need to go to the design tab. After going to design tab, you can see various designs over here. To get more designs, you have to press over here to a drop down button. You can see more designs over here. So today let's go with this design. Yeah, this. So first, we'll begin with the title. Okay. So Home tab is the most basic tab, which has all the basic functions, features which are required mostly. So first we'll type the title as the MS PowerPoint or PPT. Okay. Uh, then we'll see the alignments over here. Here you can see the alignment. So now currently it's in right alignment. We'll shift it to center alignment. Then same for the subtitle, center alignment. Now why do we use subtitles? Subtitles are used to to this further describe the topic. Okay. So you can also move these text boxes as wherever you want. Okay. Now we'll add the next slide. To add the next slide, we need to go to insert. Over here, you can see like a new slide. There are a lot of options of what content you want to put. So I think we should select title and content next. Now we'll see about the text box. How do you add a text box? Go to insert, go to shapes. Then the first option you see over here will be a text box. So you can, sorry, yeah. So you can drag your text box. So you can drag your text box over here, and then you can start typing in. So next we'll talk about the fonts. So in Home tab, you'll see all the fonts. So you just have to click on the drop down button and then select whichever font you want. Let's go with Arial Black for now. You have to select the text first, then go to the drop down button, select the font, and then you can also increase and decrease its size. So these are the two shortcut buttons to increase and to decrease the size. Similarly, uh, for color, you can select the text, go you can change the color of that particular font from here. So let's keep it this color. Then again, you can highlight this thing by going over here. So let's keep it yellow. Yeah. After that, we'll add another text box. Yeah, you can also get a text box from here. So yeah, yeah. Now the background of the text box. How can we? So I showed you the launch button over here. So that here over here are the fill options. So you have to click on this particular text box. Then you can fill this particular text box by solid fill. Solid over here you can change its color to maybe gray, and then gradient fill, or maybe gradient fill is for it to appear in shades, and then picture or text fill, or maybe a pattern fill. For picture fill, you can insert pictures from your file, from online pictures, from the devices. Yeah. Then we'll add shapes. For adding shapes, you need to go to insert and then add whatever shape you want. So let's add circle. Then so when you select on a particular shape or particular object, all these extra things comes up, right? So you can edit it more easily. Then over here you can add icons. So for icons as an emoji. So to make it more creative. Yeah. So maybe we can add this icon over here. Yeah. And then this is like a new feature of adding 3D models to make your presentation more creative. Let's insert a laptop. Let's try again. It's not happening this time. But any doubts so far, please let me know.
If there are any doubts, please let us know in the chat box. I don't think so, Tejasvi. You can move on.
Yeah, I think I'll move on because it's not loading today. I don't know why. Okay. So, but when you insert that particular 3D this thing, then you can also rotate that particular object. So, to explain it more, so we'll insert like a new slide again. Yeah. So now we'll see trans, uh, transition. So what are transitions? What do transitions do? It gives a nice visual effect while moving from one slide to another. Okay. So how do we do it? How to apply transitions? So you need to go to transitions tab. You need to select the slide, or you need to select that particular slide first. Then you need to go to transitions tab. Then over here again you can see a drop down list. From that list you can select any particular transitions that you like and apply. Then it gets applied. So when you apply the transition over here, you can see like a star mark. Yeah, so that means that transition is being applied to that particular slide. Yeah, so you can preview it.
Tejasvi, sorry to interrupt. Can you be a little loud?
Okay, yeah, sure. Am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So you can see now that we've applied the transition from moving from one slide to next. You can see the random bars popping up, right? Yeah. So now I want similar kind of text box over here. So rather than adding a new text box, I'll select this particular text box. I'll press Control D and I'll drag it over here, and then I'll just write animation, and then again similar for this text box, just drag it down here. Okay. And what are animations? So even those are visual effects which uh, make the objects or lines appear on screen. Okay. And how do we do it? We go on the animations tab. First we select that particular text. So maybe over here we will select this line. Then we go on animations tab, and then again over here is a drop down button. You can see all of these animations. You can choose which one you want to choose. Yeah, so this is the animation applied on this particular line. So we again have to preview. Actually, we can directly do it. Yeah, so you can't see this line right now, right? But as soon as you press enter, you can see it. So it appears. Why? Because we have applied animations over here. we can actually, we don't have to preview from the beginning all the time. Over here is the option of slideshow. You can, uh, hmm, yeah, just a minute. I can't see that band right now because it's covered. Okay. So you can start previewing from that particular site as well. So now we'll again add a new slide and I'll show you how to insert images, uh, videos, and audio. Okay. So to insert image, go on Insert tab, click picture. It's either from this device or from online picture. So if we go from this device, we go on this device, then yeah, then we can just add picture from this device and place it over here. Then we can insert picture, or we can just browse on the spot the picture and then we can insert it. So maybe let's just add this, insert this picture. You can resize it easily, and yeah. Similar goes for the videos and for the audios as well. Over here in Insert tab, you can see there's an option of video. You can insert videos from this device, or you can browse the videos on the spot. For audios, you can do the same. You can uh, uh, select from this device or maybe record on the spot. Okay. After that, yeah. So after that, I'll teach you. Just a second. After that, I'll show you how to add, how to insert uh, links, also known as hyperlinks. Uh, so yeah, go to the Insert tab, uh, go to Links, then yeah, you can also copy paste that particular link. So I have like a support page open for y'all. So maybe we'll just copy that link and then we'll paste it over here. And you can change, so yeah, like you can change the name of that particular link so that the link doesn't as it is appear on that screen. So this link is of Microsoft PowerPoint training, right? So I'll put its name as that. Now, why do we enter the link? Because sometimes we can't fit the entire PDF or entire article in that particular slide, right? So you can on the spot click on that particular link and go on that particular page. So how to click a link? You just can't directly click a link. You have to press Control button and then click on that particular link so that it opens up. I hope it's clear till now. If you have any doubts, please let me know.
Tejasvi, they want you to teach them how to, enter a video into the PPT. So like you showed for the picture, could you just show how to put a video?
Yeah, sure, I'll do that. So go to video, go to this device or go to online video. I think online will take time. So this is the video that I just recently made for College Fest. So we can insert that. This is how you insert a video. Right. The video should be there in your file already, and then you can select it and then you can play. Can you all see?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how you insert a video. Now we'll move to the next slide. Again, we'll insert a new slide. So in the next slide, I'll be teaching you about the smart art, how to insert a smart art. Yeah, so go to insert and yeah, so you can see what smart art is for. Like it's so that you can provide or show your information in more graphical ways. So, yeah. So you can see all of these options right here. You can select like the flow chart or for in cycle format or in a matrix format or pyramid. So we'll go process. So we'll go for process and then yeah. So over here, I'll show you the entire process that we've done till now. Also, we've made 4 PPTs, but over here are only 3 boxes, right? So we can add a shape. So now there are 4 boxes. Over here, you can also change its color by going on change color, and you can see a lot of other colors appearing. Then you can also change its slide by going over here. You can also fill it in by clicking on solid fill or gradient, making it a gradient fill or picture or text fill, something like that. So now we'll add text. What did we do? In the first slide, we added uh, title. In next slide, okay. So in next slide, we saw text and uh, shapes and icons. Then in next slide, we saw about the transition and animation. And now we saw about inserting links and images. So we'll type it here. Like, that's how you do it. So this is how you can make like a basic PPT. After that, every time you make a PPT, you have to save first. I suggest save every slide. Okay, so if something happens, then you don't have to redo the entire thing. It's saved there. So you can go to download or either OneDrive if you have like a Microsoft account. But let's go to download and save it as MSPPT. You can save it in different formats. If you want to send someone in a PDF format, you can do it. Yeah, and in the now we'll save it in PPT format only, and then we save the presentation. Yeah, that's it. Any doubts, please let me know.
Please drop in your doubts in the chat section. We'll address them towards the end of the session. Thank you so much, Tejasvi, for the amazing session. We have lots of comments for you in the chat box. I know we are a little like it's 11:30 already. But please wait back with us. We have Neha right now, and she'll be explaining Microsoft Word to you all.
Yeah, I'd just like to add one thing before Neha. Thank you so much, Tejasvi. Very nice and very cool stuff, actually, I would say. So that helps. I just had one point to make here. So we are open to feedbacks, and everyone over here is trying. We have started with what we thought we should share, but maybe you can tell your class representatives and monitors later what more do you wish, whether it is Excel, whether it is PowerPoint or anything else, please let your CRs know about it and we will surely cover it. And as I always say, start practicing first. You need not know everything first and then start. Start with it and the rest will always follow. So with that, I think it's time for Neha to come in. Thank you so much, Tejasvi.
Welcome, ma'am. And thanks for giving me this opportunity to teaching.
No, no. You've done some fantastic creatives for me, so I know that. Thank you.
So I think we are facing some technical issues. Tejasvi, could you please take up word as well?
Okay, sure, I will do that. Just give me a minute, I'll share my screen.
Yes, by then I would like to let everybody know that we will be sharing the recording on YouTube. So you all can access the video from there, watch the video a couple of times and, give us your feedback. Let us know if there is anything else you all would want us to cover in the upcoming classes. Besides this, we will also be sharing all the documents with you all. Rashmi has made an excellent Microsoft Excel. We'll be sharing it with you all for your reference. Tejasvi will also be sharing a PPT and Word document with you all. So don't worry, we have got you all covered. Tejasvi, are we ready to go?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, great.
Can you see I've shared the screen?
Yes, it's visible.
So, why do we use Word? We use Word to create documents and projects and maybe biodatas and all for work and educational purposes. So when you open the app, this is how it looks. Again, over here you can browse templates. So maybe like for reports and for biodatas and all of that. But today I'll be teaching you the basics of the Word. So we'll begin with a blank document over here. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. Even over here, we can directly start typing in anything like MS Word or something. But let's go with the styles. These are the styles. Yeah. So this is the title. You can also insert a text box over here by going to shape if you wish to, and then yeah, you can just copy paste this thing uh, inside. Oh, okay, fine. You can type like a title inside this if you want. And again, you can select the text. You can change the font, whatever you want, and then you can increase the font size. Yeah. Then you can change the alignments from here. I hope all the tabs and all the ribbons are clear so far. Or do I need to explain it again? Hello, am I
No, you can
audible?
just brush up on the topics. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so you can start typing in from here. So let's write like a start paragraph. Yeah. Now you can also change its color and highlight it the way I showed you before. Yeah. Change its color to red and then again highlight this thing. Now, yeah. Now about the bullet points. So these are the bullet points to make a list, like 1 and then 2 and then 3 maybe. So there's other type of there's other type of list known as, okay, there's other type of list known as multi-level list. So under one you want to put other subpoints, so you can do that. Right? Like sorry, sorry, yeah. Just give me a second. Hmm. So now we saw the tabs under. So now that we select the multi-level list, we select this one. So under tabs, we can see the ribbon. Under that, we can see the groups. Under that, we can see the launch buttons, right? So we can add on the list, and I guess, yeah, then this would be like the number 2, this thing, continuation of the main title over here. Then, yeah, so I just, now we'll insert the table. So how to, yeah, so go to the insert tab, select insert table, then you can edit like columns. Let's keep 5 columns and maybe 3 rows, and then select on OK. Then you get your own table over here, and then you can see like different styles of tables. So you can again go to the drop down and select what color do you want. So let's choose this color. Um, now, yeah, sorry. Now let's see how the watermark. Oh God. Okay. Let's undo this thing. Now let's see how we can insert the watermark. So you have to go to the design tab. Then you can see options over here. One is the watermark, page color, and page borders. So let's go. Yeah, let's select watermark. Then these are the options that you get, but you have to go on custom watermark. Yeah. Okay, sorry. You have to apply the watermark. Then you have to go to uh, yeah, custom watermark, and then you can write whatever you want to, maybe your project topic's name or company's name or anything. So over here we'll write MS Word. Then you can also change the fonts of the watermark. So let's keep this. Then you can also change the size of the watermark. So let's keep this. The color of the watermark. So let's keep it black. And then yeah, horizontal or in diagonal shape. So let's apply a horizontal shape. Watermark. Yeah, you can see the watermark over here, right? After that, yeah, over here again you can insert like insert pictures, insert different shapes and icons. So when you insert a shape, you found this layout option over here, right? Unlike PPT doesn't have anything like that. You can move it easily, but over here, due to some text alignments, you find this option over here. So you select this option, and maybe you can just put it behind the text, so you can move it easily. Yeah. So now you can move this circle easily, but if we wouldn't have done that, we would have been unable to move that particular shape. In similar manner, you can add icons and 3D models in this too. Um, Yeah, so I think it'll take time to load, but we've covered in PPT, so I hope you have idea what icons and charts and smart art is, right? Um, yeah. Then about the borders, like, sorry, one over. Yeah. Okay. Um, Can you all see my screen now? It was paused now.
No, we can see it.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay. So this is the header. So now we'll talk about the header. So header, uh, so the header feature is there so that you can put your name or date over here, and footer images over here to put the references or maybe page numbers. So I've written my name over here. So I've also written the date, but you can go to date and time, and you have to click to update automatically. And you can select the format in which you want it. By clicking on update automatically, what happens is you can save. The date appears on the day which you have finished that particular document. So, yeah, and sorry. And same goes to the footer. You have to double click this thing, uh, yeah, and then you can edit the footer. You can just write it down the page numbers over here. You can get these options in the layer. I guess, yeah, you can get these options over here. I see this band because it's sorry for that. Mm, one second. So there's this, yeah. Okay. Now we'll see how to apply like a page border. Uh, so yeah, go to design tab. Then the last option is of page border. So you can select different types of boxes, maybe like a 3D effect, and yeah. So you can see uh, the border is being applied, and then yeah, yeah. And there's a difference between borders and margin. Border is visible, and margin is to align the text. I don't know if you all can see the scale over here. So it aligns your text in a proper format. So yeah, that's the basics of the word. Please let me know if you all have any doubts or if you want to know more about Word. And over here, you can go and you can save the document, and then again, you can go to save as, and not in one drive, so you can download it in a lot of other formats, in a PDF format. So we'll just cancel it for now because I can't see it because it's just banned over here. Okay. Please let me know if you have any doubts or you want to know more about the word. I can tell you.
Okay, so we're done with Excel, PPT, and Word. We hope you all learned a lot from these sessions. And if you all yet have any doubts, we'll be happy to address that super quick in the chat box. Okay, cool. Did you all like these sessions? Did you all like learn a lot today? Okay, great. Grisha, Palak, do you all want to take over?
Yes.
Great.
Thank you so much, Tejasvi and Rashmi. I'm sure everybody had a lot to learn from these sessions. Before we take up any question and answers, we have Gurleen with us. She's our lead for ambassadorship program, and she has some exciting news to share. Gurleen, over to you.
Hi everyone, this is Gurleen, and like Girisha mentioned, I lead the ambassadorship program at AFH. So Aspire for Her offers a 1-month work from home externship to young dynamic women to become our campus ambassadors who work towards building awareness, creating social connect, multiplying members and expanding our reach. All our ambassadors are young, 18 to 25 years old, energetic, passionate, brilliant, like-minded women like you all, and who have the zeal to take the initiative and make a change. The ambassador form link will be put in the chat box. Make sure you sign up for it and join our team as we build the foundation for all of your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, Gurleen. The ambassadorship form is in the chat box. Please go on and sign up with us. We'll take up question and answers now. Pankti, would you like to take over?
Yeah, so in case you all have any questions, please put it in the chat box regarding Excel, Word, or PowerPoint.
So I think there were a couple of questions for merging. Rashmi, could you take that segment up real quick?
Merging part of it, just a second,
Yes.
sure. I'll just share my screen.
Great. If there are any other doubts, please let us know in the chat box. We'll be addressing them now.
Okay, just okay. Is my screen seen?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, so
And could you also please go really slow with this?
yes.
Yeah.
So what is merging is that it combines 2 or 3 cells or many number of cells into one single block, so that like you can have a heading or something representing a group of a whole kind of a thing. So in this Excel which I'm sharing right now, you can see that 2 cells are merged here, right at the heading. So you can see that A and B does not have the separating line in between, right? So that's what merging does for us. So you can combine 2, 3, 4, n number of lines and how much of a thickness you want, column wise, row wise, and this is what merging looks like. So I'll show you guys how you actually go about it, which is select a cell, and I'll be selecting the create a notebook cell, and maybe then press in the shift button and choose any number of cells you want to merge. I want to merge till E and I want such a long merging. So I've chosen everything. So now you can see all of it is highlighted with the box around, right? So now we go to home and we have this option called as merge in center right below wrap text beside the alignments, right? Can you guys see that? So if you just put your cursor on it, it itself tells us what it is. Pick how to merge cell and all of that. So I just tap on it once. So when I do that, it automatically joins the cells together and it center aligns it, because that's how usually, like I mentioned before, usually we use this feature for headings, and headings will look good when they're in between, right? Aligned to the center. So hence it merges and centers it. And if you don't want that, there are other ways to merge it also. Just normally merge it and all of that, so which you can explore. So I hope it's clear.
Any more doubts?
So we have one about the advanced option in filtering. I think, Rashmi, this is for you again.
Okay.
Could you explain that part as well?
Okay, just a second. So do you want me to get into the advanced part of the filtering, or what is?
It just says advanced option in filtering. So I think you can just like show them the
Yes.
table and how to go about it.
Yeah. So here, maybe I like the other time I was talking about the platform Zoom and Facebook, right? So I think I'll take that again. So maybe like the options here or something. This is what I have to be. This is where the doubt is, or there is nothing exactly as advanced as something. Maybe something like text filters and other ways in which you can do it, something like that. So the filtering which I have showed was that you just tap on this arrow which you get after getting the whole filter option, and you again press in the select all so that it deselects everything and choose in whatever you want to filter for. So I want only the Zoom session, so I have only ticked that in here, checked it in, and then I pressed OK so that only that filter comes out. And maybe the second thing you can do is under this also, I want to know what like if anyone did 2 sessions or something like that, and there again I can go to the second row and again column and again filter it, and go to a third row and again filter it. So maybe this is what was the advanced filtering which was asked, is what I'm assuming. So I've just chosen this, and okay, so we see that the interlap of Zoom, which Kocharya has done, is what is the exact data which we want, right? So this is the advanced way of doing it. So hope I answered your question.
Yes, I think so. In case there are any more doubts, and if we haven't addressed them here, you all can reach out to us through our social media handles, or you all can tell your class representatives and they'll reach out to us. So don't worry, if you all have doubts in the future, we are always available. You all can always reach out to us. With this, I think, Palak, would you like to take over?
Yeah. So with this, we come to the end of the...
Sorry to cut you, but I'd like to add something that I couldn't explain Word document properly because I couldn't see the tabs. So I'll just make a comprehensive Word document and then forward it to you. I'll also attach certain links so that you can see the trainings as well. And I'm really sorry for the inconveniences today.
Perfect. Thank you, Tejasvi.
Thank you. Okay, then with this, we come to the end of the session. Thank you so much to all the speakers for sharing such amazing insights with us. I'm sure the audience feels much more confident about using Microsoft efficiently. I would also like to thank you all for joining us today. Do let us know how you find the workshop by typing it in the chat box. Do sign up as a member of AFH to be part of our upcoming workshops and to avail various career resources. Also, we have various learning partners, of which one is IBM Open PTech. To know about it more, you can check out the Learning tab on Aspire for Her's website. You can check out www.aspireforher.org/learningsaspire for various free courses. We also have a bunch of job and internship opportunities. Check out our job section on our website. For any queries, feel free to reach out to Aspire for Her on any social media platform. We are on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Medium, Sheros, and the links for all will be posted in the chat box. We would like to conclude by thanking Madhura ma'am, Ruchita ma'am, Nandini ma'am, and the entire AFH team for helping us organize such an amazing workshop and for various other opportunities and career resources. Hoping to see all of you again next Sunday for another knowledge field session on document writing. Goodbye.
Thank you very much. Really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, girls. Thank you all AFH and JD Women's College students for being there and giving us all these insights. I'm sure there's something left. There will always be something left. Nothing is 100%. Let's go with this and applaud the girls for giving you all this that they have done in this very, very short time. Now it's up to you to explore. I plan to explore today. I'm going to give up my Kindle plans and explore this. It's exciting. So thank you, girls. Looking forward to the coming Sunday. And students, do ask whatever questions you can, and let's see what they can answer you. But you have to start exploring yourself. Thank you.
Correct. They can, and ma'am, they can do it through the CRs. That is why the CRs are meant for. They are going to be the point of contact between us and between the students, and that's their work.
Wow, that's good.
And we will take feedback and we will incorporate whatever is needed. We are also trying our best. It is the first for us also.
Absolutely.
And
Can I say a couple of things, please, over here? That if you can tell the girls what you're going to do in the next session, maybe they can sort of be mentally prepared or prepare a little for it. Are you going to use Word for all that you're going to do for documentation? Palak or Girisha?
Ma'am, so we'll be doing a basic on paper format, but we'll let them know that there are these XYZ softwares that they can use to enhance the formats.
Okay. Right. That's fine. Then that's good. So I would just give a little pointer, girls, because you're budding teachers now. Let's go from the easy to the difficult, right? So make it all very easy first and then the difficult part. I mean, this session I would have later on, I thought maybe with so much of information that you girls have with you, to compress it and give it in 15, 20 minutes. That was amazing, Rasmi. I mean, amazing to try to give that. So obviously there'll be issues. That's okay. That's how it is.
I have to just say, ma'am, she's one of our Formula One racers.
That's what she was saying there.
She's highly into that, and she has done it with so much of passion and enthusiasm. So that is there. And
I know, I heard that.
And besides that, ma'am,
info, she was racing through it also.
no, she is
wonderful.
Unfortunately, what happens is when you are on the spotlight, you actually can't see the chat box and the comments.
No, you can't.
And she was very much engrossed, and our girls have done a beautiful job. And before that, the thought of doing it is something more than even doing it, right?
I know.
Won't come across. And our girls and our team is actually the same age that probably the audience is.
Yeah, I guess so.
These thoughts are very good. And of course, we are all open to feedbacks, and we also want to do it better. So we will put up whatever is going to be the next part, and maybe you can just give us a little feedback as to how you want the flow. We'll share it with you.
Oh, great. Fine. It was just wonderful today.
Oh, yes, it was.
Okay, if people are very basic in the information, then they have a little bit of a problem. That's all right. That's how it has to be, because you have to cater to 200 or 250 girls at one time. You can't reach their level, everybody's level at one go. So